when you're training, you can't be eating, and when you're sleeping, you can't be eating either. Okay, so what's up, guys? Hong Nguyen, OG Fitness. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, this channel is all about fitness for judo and martial arts for older guys. So I'm 45 years old, black belt in judo, blue belt in BJJ, lifelong martial artist. And in today's video, we're going to piggyback off another video that I made recently, the last one actually, about if starting judo at 40 is a good idea or not. And of course, the short answer is no, it's not a good idea, especially if you're not fit. But you can get fit if you wanted to, so that you'd be a lot safer and a lot, will have a better time, practicing, enjoying judo. So this video is going to be how, well, to lose weight, guys. So this is what I do. This is what works, I believe, for most people who are of age, who have responsibilities, don't have time to train 6 days a week, two times a day. So anyways, okay, let's dive into it. I'm gonna make this pretty simple. I'm also a personal trainer, guys, but that's what I specialize in. It's fitness for judo and martial arts, all right, for OGs. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of BS out there. I wouldn't say a lot of BS, but people overcomplicate the living shit out of this, and it's not actually that complicated. I'm going to give you guys the big, broad strokes, the things that you need to understand, and that's it. Like, it's just a question of going out there and actually doing it, which is actually the hard part, right, to be consistent. So let's dive in. So the first point is eat twice a day. Now, eating twice a day will generally make it so that you eat less. Okay, so you don't need breakfast. Skip breakfast, guys. Just eat lunch, and then after that, have your other meal. I don't know, maybe at 6, 7, all depending, or maybe earlier, right? Depending on if you train in the evening or not. Because what you want to do ideally is that you want to stop eating about 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. So that way you go to sleep on an empty stomach. It's better for the quality of your sleep. So that's that. Number 2 is that eat carbs only before your workout. Okay, so the first meal of the day for me, when I eat at noon, it's usually going to be proteins, fats, veggies, some fruits. I know there's a little bit of carbs in fruits, but I mean, there's really not much. And now my second meal, that's when I have my carbs. So I'll either, depending on how I feel and depending on how hard I decide to go, like if I don't feel like I need carbs, I'm just not going to eat carbs. Like if I just feel strong that day, then there's no point. But if I don't, I feel like a little bit down and I need a little bit of a boost, then yeah, I'll have my carbs about 2 hours before. Now also on the days that I control how much carbs I eat. So if it's going to be an intense workout, I'll eat a little bit more. I don't exaggerate, of course. You have to be careful with that. But I do eat a little bit more. Now, if I know I'm going light, there's no need to be, going hardcore on the carbs before your workout. Some people like having carbs after the workout, to restore glycogen stores, like in the muscles and liver and all that. Me, personally, I just have them. I mean, that's fine as well. But I like to have it before the workout. That way I fuel my workout and I have energy to go hard if I wanted to. But I don't go hard at all for the most part. So the other thing that you need to know is basically to stay away from processed foods 80% of the time, at least 80% of the time. If you could do 100, that's great. But I find that to be very not sustainable in the long run. Because, well, if you want to have a social life, you want to go out to restaurants, you want to go to barbecues, you want to go to people's birthdays, like, yeah, you want to enjoy yourself. So I think 80% of the time is already really, really good. So 80% of the time, non-processed foods. And here's the thing. Here's a pro tip. Learn how to cook. If you don't already know how to cook, learn how to cook. And that's going to help a lot with not having to eat processed foods. Another important tip, something that you guys have to understand, don't drink calories. Okay, so if you're going to drink, it's either 0-calorie drinks or water. That's it. Now, of course, if you go out to have drinks with your friends, aka alcohol, well, hey, it is what it is, and that's why 80-20 rule applies. I personally like to have a eating window. So my eating window starts at noon and finishes at 8. But you could also, let's say you wanted to have breakfast, then let's say you eat at 10, and then maybe your window would be a little bit shorter. It would be till like 6, something like that, right? So that's what I would. That's how I would work around it if I was someone who actually liked to have breakfast. I mean, I do on the weekends sometimes, but for the most part during the week, I don't eat breakfast. I just find like just wake up, get into my have. Well, right now I still drink coffee, so I just have my coffee, take my shower, and boom, I'm off. Right? Work out 6 days a week. Yes, 6 days a week. You have to be doing something 6 days a week. Now, what do you have to do? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But 6 days a week, and give yourself at least one day off. So that means, yes, and on your day off, guys, I would suggest that you spend at least an hour stretching, right? On those days, that's when you can improve your flexibility by focusing 1 hour of your time, stretching. So you're stretching long and hard. Obviously, warm up. If you guys have any questions about that, of course, put it in the comment section. I think I made a video recently about that. But yes, I would use that day to stretch like a motherfucker. Stretch, right? It's gonna do you good. And then during the week, after your workouts and all, then you can stretch. But 5-10 minutes is fine, right? For maintenance and everything, and for incremental improvements. But for the big improvements, man, slam that shit on Sunday. Okay, so how do we split this up? Now, if you were to work out 6 days a week, then 2 days strength training, 2 days work on your stamina, and then 2 days work on your stability. Now, for your stamina days, stamina meaning endurance, obviously you can do like, traditional cardio, like running, if you do that, swimming, biking, whatever, skipping rope, shadow boxing, bag work is amazing for that as well. Me, I like to just, like, if we're talking just for judo, then my 2 judo sessions, I would count them as conditioning, because I would just go harder on those days. I would make sure that I'm constantly working, moving, doing all the randoris, giving it, I wouldn't say my all, but I tend to go anywhere between 50 to 80% of my capacity, to be honest, and even 80% would be pushing it. So more like 50 to 70% for the most part, because I like to train a lot. So volume is important to develop skill, in my opinion. So that's what I do. Any of these things, don't do them 2 days in a row. So don't do 2 sessions of strength training in a row. And the stamina as well, and the what do you call it? The stability work as well. All right. Like I prefer to space them out. That way you give your body a break, and to from that particular type of training. But of course, if you have 2 days of judo in a row and you have no way around it, well, hey, it is what it is. It's not ideal, but hey, it's not the end of the world. What rate should you be losing the weight? It's 1 to 1.5 pounds a week of fat. That's the safe way to go to make sure that you don't lose any muscle at the same time. Now, it's worth noting that if you lose fat too fast because you're crash dieting, so basically you're just starving yourself, you just end up with loose skin, and then you're kind of screwed, because the only way to get rid of that afterwards is surgery, and it looks nasty, man. So don't be in a rush. I understand some people might be in a bad position, and it's for their health, and they got to crash diet and all that. But man, I wouldn't do it, man. I wouldn't do it. Taking your weight fluctuates day to day, hour to hour, even depending on what you ate, how much you drank. So it's important to take your weight in the morning, every single morning, and then take the average at the end of the week, and that'll give you your average weight. And then you just compare averages, weekly averages versus weekly averages. And as long as you're headed down, right, and it's a good sign. So even if you're only going down half a pound, that's fine, guys. Like, don't worry about it. 1 to 1.5 pounds is fine. At the beginning, you probably lose a little bit more if you're like cleaning up your diet a little bit, so you're eating less processed foods. It's just because you're retaining less water because you're eating less carbs. By the way, sugar is carbs, just in case you guys didn't know that. I would say for most guys, 15 to 20% is where you want to aim for. More 15 than 20 with muscle, and most people at 15%, I would say, no, actually, everybody looks decent, pretty darn decent at 15%. Now, some people could actually pull off 20% and still look pretty decent, right? But that depends on your genetic makeup. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm telling you, this is all there is to it. Okay, that's it. Like when it comes to fat loss, you don't need to buy any kind of funky program and all that, right? You don't need to try crazy types of workouts. You know, like anything you do is gonna work, man. Just eat sensibly. Eat obviously a little bit less, right, than maybe you're currently eating, and not necessarily it's the calories that matter. You could, if you eat a lot of vegetables, like a ton of vegetables, you can't get fat. But obviously you want to have a balanced diet. That's it. So whatever it is that you do, I suggest balanced diet. I like to eat not too much meat, generally speaking, but right now, since I'm bouncing around and moving around, it's a little bit complicated. So, I just decided to put on to bulk, basically. Not that I'm dirty bulking and doing it on purpose, but, if you're traveling and you're with friends and family and stuff like that, like yeah, it's like you're not controlling the food as well, because you're not the one cooking. So, you do with what you got. So I decided to put on muscle instead. But, I'm stable, right? And that's the secret to weight loss. Oh, one other thing. You got to sleep properly. Okay, so try to follow the sun. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is usually the ideal, the best time for you to be sleeping. And for you to do that, well, you have to at least wake up early one time and consistently wake up at that same time every single day. And then you have to wear yourself out physically and mentally. And then by the time it's nighttime and it's time to go to bed, well, you'll be tired and you'll pass out. So that's for like another. If you guys want more information about that, just let me know down in the comments, and I can make a video about it. But I don't want to make this video too long. But that's all there is to it, guys. This weight loss stuff, it's not magic. It's just about consuming less fuel. Okay, not energy. Energy is I found this out recently. It's the conversion from fuel to energy. So a lot of people actually, because they have a whole bunch of issues, they kind of screwed themselves up by having a really bad lifestyle, very bad habits. Then their hormones are out of whack. But yeah, so then they can't get that fuel to use as energy, so to speak. So anyways, it's how much fuel you consume, how much comes in, calories out, right? Slight deficit there. It helps a lot if you eat non-processed foods. And that's it. And then after that, just exercise to build muscle, man, to feel good, to keep yourself young, strong, healthy, flexible, and all that. And yeah, that's going to burn off some calories as well. But it's a long game when it comes to losing body fat. So that's why you have to just keep at it. And that's all there is to it. There's no magic. The only reason that you would need a coach is for accountability and to, yeah, basically coach you through it. Like basically remind you to do what you need to do, and of course push you and stop you, depending on if you need to be pushed or if you need to be, pulled back a little bit, depending on your personality. But that's all it is, man. That's all it is. Everything else, it's nonsense, man. Just eat a little bit less, be more sensible. Train, man, train. When you're training, you can't be eating, and when you're sleeping, you can't be eating either. Okay, so that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys do to stay lean or to drop the fat when you accumulated a little bit too much for your liking. So that's it, guys. See you in the next one. And guys, DM me on Instagram if you want to speak to me directly. I answer my messages there, as well as in the comment section. And link in the bio for a free coaching call, and I could help you with anything that you need help with. All right, and of course we could work together. If you guys are interested, we could take a look at that. But I'm here to help. Peace.